Hey Mark, how
Hi.
are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Just initially wanted to start off with the team news. Has anything changed from the last game?
No, not fresh news in terms of the availability of the players. Nice to see Harry Wilson already around the squad, on the grass, doing some individual work, but in the final stage of the individual rehabilitation is going to be sooner with us, and they are great news for us in terms of the wide side of the attacking areas of the pitch, where you miss a player with these characteristics and how he's capable to help the team. Scoring goals, something that is always important to have in the attacking line players, and there in that aspect of the game is really important for us. It's nice to see him around. Let's hope soon you can have him, because he's going to help us for sure. And as I told you the last time we spoke, Kenny is already training 100% with the team. It's going to be a matter of time for him to be involved in the squad list.
Do you think he'd be in contention to play against Liverpool?
Who?
Tete.
He's going to be in contention to be involved probably. Now is a matter of fitness, and for him to be as more confident he can be from the injured, nothing more. He's working with the team. Let's see when he's going to be ready to be involved from the start of a game, when it's time probably to get that. But could be Liverpool, could be other games, you never know. It's going to be my decision. We have another session tomorrow. Let's see how he's going to react from the session today again. But sooner we are going to see him involved in the squad list. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Looking ahead to this game against Liverpool, they potentially could win the title with 3 more games to win. Just how impressive have been the work that Slot has put into this team as them as a side, and just how much of a challenge will it be against them?
First, the impact of the manager is always important. In one moment that they don't was not just a manager that left them, was a manager that was there many years with a massive impact, and almost everything that was built in the football club the 9-10 years before Slot arrived was around the players, the squad, and the manager, of course, with a really historic club and important club in the country. But of course, Jurgen was a very important piece. And when the club went in a different direction for the reasons that you all know, is going to be always important, the impact of the manager. And Slot had made that impact, was important for him. But for me, one of the main things from Liverpool this season so far is how they have been consistent. Really, they have been really consistent in terms of Premier League. You don't see many times they had the down moments. They are always there, and when something happened, they were always able to react. And it's not a coincidence why they have been most of the time on the top of the table and being there. And we all agree that if nothing happened really special, that is not so easy to happen. They are going to have a celebration in the end of the season. From our side, of course, it's our obligation to fight for the 3 points, to fight really hard to get 3 points. You are in our battle too. They want to get 3 points to be closer to the title. We want to get 3 points to be in our battle as well, and it's going to be like that. So we respect them, but let's trust on ourselves and our identity as well. Let's try to create the same environment that our fans and our supporters they created last Saturday at home as well, because with that type of environment it's going to be more difficult for Liverpool, and it's going to be a big help for us too. They are consistent. They haven't lost an away Premier League game this season so far. Okay, it shows what I'm talking about, how they have been consistent, all that stuff. But our games against them. I remember the 3 games last season, how they have been always toe-on-toe this season as well. For example, they didn't drop many points at home so far, and ourselves, we were one of the teams that took points from them at Anfield Road this season. They haven't lost away from home this season, and we have to do our best to try to break them in that aspect of the game. But it's going to be a game that is going to demand us to be really close to perfection. Perfection in football doesn't exist. It's very difficult. You find always something to improve, but it's going to demand us to be very close to perfection in that afternoon, Sunday afternoon, for us to be able to win the game.
Lovely. And I know you mentioned right there just the consistencies that Liverpool have shown this season. I guess in some parts when you look at your own team and the inconsistencies on home form, like you get to win a back-to-back Premier League home game this season, and with just not that many games to go, and I guess the potential of being in Europe not being that far away, just how important is it to try and secure every single one of those points? Does it almost feel like every game going forward is going to feel like a final in some parts?
Yes, and we have to look for it as a final. But it's not just Liverpool. Even inside, we said okay, last home game was a different competition, but was a final for us, and Liverpool Tottenham game was the same. I think now with 8 games to go and all that stuff, you have to look for the next game as always, the really important one, and there are 3 points that we are not going to have chance to fight for no more, and that is the thing. We have to put all the focus in the game and do our best to achieve as more points as you can. Premier League is always difficult, of course. All the teams, they want to take something from the home factor, and we are one of the teams that you want. We made our Craven Cottage last 2 seasons really our fortress. The way you made it really difficult for them. This season, most of the times we have been doing really well. We have lack of some consistency in terms of results. When games that we deserve much more, you are not able to do it. But our way form, we showed improvements, really improvements from the seasons before as well. It's part of that. But you know, Premier League is not so easy now to say that okay, you play home, let's go to win the game. And the best example I'm going to tell you last week was, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm going to say something that is true. Liverpool, that they are on the top of the table, that they have been so consistent. They have more points away from home than home. And this is just an example of how Premier League is not so easy to win football matches, even if you are at home.
Lovely. And just lastly for me, away from the game, Manchester City announced the departure of Kevin De Bruyne at the end of this season. I just wanted to get your, I guess, reaction to that, but how much it takes for a player to be almost seen as a legend across the league. 10 years he's been with Man City, and the accolades speak for themselves.
Sure. What a player. What a player. To be honest, that 10 years that he's been here, I was around 8 years as well, and what a player. As you mentioned, he's a legend. Was tough, but a challenge to face him. Okay, to face Man City where he was involved, of course. And was very enjoyable to see him playing at his best level, is what I have to say. What a player. He's one, as you said, one of the best, the last 10 years in Premier League, one of the best players really, that is there really on the top. The way he's being decisive, the way he makes the team play better, the way he's so enjoyable to see him playing and enjoys football and express himself on the pitch. Okay, in a team that at the last few years is being winning, and is always important when you are in one team that can win some important trophies and all that stuff. But okay, he's a legend in Premier League for sure, in City for the City fans as well, and was a challenge and was enjoyable to face him and to see him playing football, because he's a top player and he was an amazing football player the last years in Premier League.
Lovely, thank you. Just a lot.
I'm seeing you again. Another question, please, about Kevin De Bruyne. How much resiliency do you think he had to show? Because obviously he came to English football at Chelsea, was very young, then left and played abroad, and then came back, and look what he achieved. Yes,
when I was a manager in Sporting and I played against him. I was managing Sporting Champions League, in Europa League. Sorry, he was at Wolfsburg, I think, and even that one was after Chelsea. He went to Germany and he was at Wolfsburg. Even in that moment, you can feel it that okay, it was something there. Was growing a player with the top quality. I'm not saying that in that moment see that he's going to be in City or in other club in the world, but in that moment he was already decisive in that team that did a good Europa League in that moment, and you can feel it. And of course, after in Premier League, I think when he came to City with the top manager in a top side that won many trophies as well, he was able to express himself in a fantastic way. Okay, I think sometimes you don't go for the straight way, like he was here already, he was around, he was at Chelsea, he went around and after come back stronger. And sometimes the young players you have many different ways to arrive on the top if you have quality to arrive on the top, and he possessed all the qualities to arrive on the top. Just he had to go a little bit around to come back stronger and after to show himself and to express himself in Premier League.
Rodrigo Muniz, 10 goals this season across all competitions. You really praise his maturity after the Arsenal game. How would you assess his development this season?
He's in much better position right now than it was the last season and 2 seasons ago when he was. You cannot forget that Rodrigo Muniz, he came the first season, he was involved in our title in championship with a top striker in front of him. For a young lad at 19 years old, was not speaking one word in English, was not even starting 11 player in his country in the club that he was before. He was a player that was coming some minutes on the pitch, very young. We trust on him, and for a player that come from that moment, first season here, in the shadow, clear from a big striker in our football club. Second season he went on loan because we thought that it's going to be good for him to keep the experience English football, to don't go abroad, to play some games. Was not the best loan at all, didn't work out, we have to be honest. And last season we showed the trust on him again. When you lost a player like Mitrovic, we showed the trust on him. Okay, we are going to stay with him, we are going to work with him and try to get the best from him. The reality at that second half of the season, he did show why we did it. He responded really well. He worded the faith from ourselves on it. And I have to say that this season, even if he had a very good impact the second half of last season, this season is being much more a mature striker, I have to say. Not always starting 11 player, always doing very good season too, but scoring important goals, being able to answer even in some not good moments. For example, against Arsenal is a good example. He missed a chance that probably the next 10 times that he's going to have a chance like that one, he has to put the ball in the net. But the reality that he was able to keep fighting and he had a chance and he scored. And that is what I'm saying, that is more mature right now. Is not anything that happened in his life or on a match day or in a training session that cannot put him so down. He has to be able to answer because he needs to be there in the right moments to score or to create chances for the opposition side. That's it about him is that he's still young for a striker, very young, but he possesses many things that is going to make him a very good striker in Premier League, no doubts about it.
Since Fulham returned to the Premier League, we could really clearly see the progress every season. You're now 9th, a few points below the 5th, which leads to Champions League football. So you are in the battle for Europe. Is that something that before the season started you thought is achievable, you spoke to the players about?
No, we had always the mission to be really on the top half of the table. 100% sure was our goal. From the beginning of the season, every time I came here was the goal, to be top half of the table, to be consistent there, to be always there involved. You know, you have so many great clubs and sides difficult to play against around ourselves, and we want to be there consistent in that moment. And when is going to arrive the final stage of the season, the decisive moment of the season, if you are there, you can fight for something more. That it was the aim, clear. Even rebuilding the squad, selling again some of the best players that we have, losing others, rebuilding, signing some important players too. Okay, we didn't hide ourselves. We are not worried to say something that was important for us. And the reality that we have been there. We have been there. Consistent, we have been there in a position that we can fight for something. Now is a moment that we have to pop up, to show ourselves and to be able to fight for something important. And let's see in the end of the season what is going to be the position. But we are here to fight for something important.
We spoke about Liverpool in general and Stoke. A couple of players I want to ask you, because it might be the last time we face them in the Premier League, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. How would you describe the impact they had on Liverpool and the impact it had on the Premier League, Salah and Van Dijk?
Good. Big impact. I cannot say in a different way. They were able with that all that squad and to be able to win some important silverware for the club. That is the main thing. And they have been consistent with football. Sometimes you can have 1, 2, 3 good seasons, but to be always on the top. 7, 8 seasons on a row, to be always there, week in, week out, game by game. Doesn't matter the competition that you are playing. For you to be always there, you have to have a lot of qualities in yourself. Not just about individual quality, to have the talent, but to prepare yourself, to be always there. Most of the times to be available to play football match and all that stuff. And the impact from both, the consistent from both is very. They were very on the top of the game, and apart from the talent that they have, because one to score and the way he's capable to score goals, and year by year was more effective in that moment of the game. And of course the other, what gives for the team the leadership, the capacity to be solid as a central defender.